Hey, what's up guys? Trip Maximum Overland. Update video, surprise video. And unfortunately, we're not gonna have an overlanding or any kind of trip this weekend. Probably because we got the hood up. The trip to New Mexico was an absolute blast. It was a 5-day trip. 4 of us, 2 vehicles, Ford Ranger, 2019 Ford Ranger, 2020 JL, Titus. And we had a great time. Everything from snow, sand, rock, forest, and then lots of highway. I think in total it was 1,900 miles, the loop, so a super good time. Unfortunately, on day 4 of the trip, Titus started to have a noticeable pretty good tick. And it's not necessarily a tick like you hear for the JLs and all that stuff on the 3.6. It's something a little different. And it definitely made me cautious about it. So we stopped over at one of the stores. I pulled the oil dipstick and I noticed that the oil was super thin, very black, and it only had about 1,600 miles on the oil change. Well, Titus does have the RIP supercharger kit, and they do recommend a different oil, but they also recommend changing it more frequently because the more gas you put in, it tends to thin out the motor oil if it's not completely burnt. And so kind of that is what was going on here, is what I think. And then again, from going from 3,500 feet where we are here in Amarillo, Texas, up to 11,000, 13,000 feet, I think the altitude caused an issue as well. So that being said, this guy got back and got us back by maintaining really low speeds, and we really tried to baby her all the way back. And I mean 65 miles an hour for probably over 700 miles. So it was grueling, but we got back here. And I never got a code out of it, but the funny thing is, I got back and I noticed it was just real funny, so I went ahead and pulled my program out and looked at some of the ECU control stuff, and there were, again, nothing there. Now, a day later, I decided to take it to go get laundry, and I left to go drop the laundry off, and I got a code, and I never got above probably 35 miles an hour. Nothing dramatic. It was early Sunday and I was just kind of cruising. So I thought that was weird. I got back, I looked at the codes, and it was a P129A code and something else. So I cleared them and thought I'd be fine, and I drove to work the following day on a Monday morning, and the code immediately came back. Now, there's never any shudder in the motor. It doesn't act funny. It doesn't act under power. And again, I haven't put it on boost since we started having that little issue, but it definitely keeps shooting that code back. And that being said, it runs fine. Once you let it warm up, it runs fine. Now, there is something noticeable going on in the motor at higher speeds, or even at a lower speed if the motor is under a lot more stress. You definitely hear it more. And so, instead of taking it out anywhere, instead of being crazy, I thought I'd go ahead and change the oil. I did a fresh oil change, fresh filter change. And to be honest, there was no metal in the oil, but it was super thin. And on top of that, nothing came out like I was hoping to. I was hoping to see some metal in the shavings, in the oil, but that didn't happen either. So I was kind of discouraged about that, but at the same time, something's going up top. And I believe it to be in the valve train. I'm not sure exactly. That being said, this guy's scheduled to get looked at for that reason. Second part of the video, gears. So currently right now I'm running 37s, 1250s on my stock Rubicon rims. Just in the background, and maybe you see in the foreground, my bead locks. I also run a set of Patagonia 40s on this Jeep. The Jeep, as a Rubicon, came with 410 gears. Now, they moved the 40s just fine, you just didn't have a lot of bite at the bottom end. So, after all the charts and all the gurus and, well-known places, they sold me on 513s. I put 513s, just so you know, I hate them. The racer in me likes them, but I've got a Shelby sitting right here with 1,021 horsepower. This is like 400. I don't need to race anybody. And I haven't noticed on doing what I was doing that this needed that much oomph with the RIP supercharger on it at a gearing to get up and over something. that rip supercharger kind of made up for the lack of oomph out of the gears. So, quick update. I'll do a whole gear video. If you guys comment below and want to hear more about the 410s and the 513s and what I'm going to be going to instead, I'd love to do one. Comment, ask about it, and I'll tell you why. 513s, yes, I believe they're wonderful. I believe they're runnable. If you never want to do more than 65, if you want to get decent gas mileage, right now it's at 70 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour. Titus gets around 9, 11 if it's downhill. It's unacceptable. That's loaded down, that's the stuff in the truck, but I don't know anybody that has a truck like this or a Gladiator that's got 513s that doesn't run any extra heavy weight. Bumpers, winches, axles, axle trusses, all the gear I take. So that being said, 513s is 100% not for me. When I wheel this guy, our first trip may be 700 miles to get to where we're gonna wheel. And then we may be in the dirt for 3 days before we get back on concrete. That being said, for what I do, it's dedicated both, but not specific to one. And so whether you're talking about the bead locks in the 40s or the 37s, I don't think it's necessary to have that much grunt. I don't know who does. And I have an F350 sitting right there that I pull a 28 foot that I put huge tractors on there behind me. So if you can tell me why you think we need them, I would love to have a discussion. But for what I'm doing and traveling back and forth over great distances, and I pull a trailer too, the 513s are just not it. If you have a dedicated trail rig and you're accepting of 9 miles to the gallon, or if you live in an area where you don't travel outside of your area but 13 to 25 miles to go to your trailheads, sure, go 513s. I don't know why you need that much grunt. You're gonna snap something, but okay. That being said, what am I going to? Spent a long time talking to the engineers over there at Yukon Gear, and we really came to the decision that even switching back and forth between the 37s and 40s, that I'm never going to get what I want out of the 513 gears, because I do extensive miles on the highway with a trailer, without a trailer. And so that being said, I'm willing to compromise. Again, if you feel like you need something that jumps out of the blocks, we can run your Jeep or your Tacoma or whatever thing you've got, whatever, with the Shelby. I don't. Yeah, with the rip and the 513s from stoplight to stoplight, and put it in 4 high, even with the 40s, there's few cars that'll run with it. That's on concrete, and who really needs that? So I would rather exchange a far higher top gear and better gas mileage than that. So I run all the time, the F350, the 28 footer, everything, tractors at 80 miles an hour around year round. That's what I do. I travel all over Texas. I've done almost 1 million miles since 2004. So I drive extensively, and I just think the comfort level for me is being, about 80 miles an hour with whatever you're towing. And so I would like the gearing in this to be more comparable, even with the trailer behind it. So that being said, I'm gonna make those changes. And again, if you want to discuss this, comment. Let's talk about it. But again, if you're a person that's gonna do 70% of your driving on the road, don't even waste your time on the 513s. Even on 40s. My 410s, I could run 75 with the 410s, with the 40s, and bead locks. So really consider what you're gonna be doing and how much weight you've got on it. Again, I've done all the trusses, I've done the axles, I've done the bumpers, swing outs, bead locks, regular rims, rip, and I've got a bunch of stuff on the backside and on the inside. And I would still think that after having the 513s, I would think that the 456s is more than enough, because it wasn't slow with the 4. Sorry, quick Amber Alert update. Anyway, I digress. Back to the gears. It wasn't slow with the 410s. It would run with the 410s, even the 40s. So that being said, I would love to communicate with anybody that has gearing ideas or wants to change, and maybe what you're going to look for. I'd say this. I think 456 should have been my original choice. Unfortunately, I didn't know that. The 513s, 456 discussions kick back and forth so bad. So I would really like to defunct that. I would love for you guys to comment, ask questions, because listen, unless you've got an incredibly underpowered Jeep and you're really running a lot of armor, and I'm talking about a lot of armor, sides, skids, entire bellies, full bumpers, full built bumpers with winches, front and rear, big slide out, big roof rack. I can't imagine you would need the 513 grunt at the bottom. Again, I'm not launching anything, but at the same time, that's a lot of power at the low end. And what it does is it really robs you stuff up top. I'm not one for running something super hard for no reason. If I wanted a dedicated buggy, I'd build a dedicated buggy. I want something capable both ways. And I think I can get to that with the 456 gears. It'll give me a little bit of the bottom end back. Not that much was gone. Again, people get things confused. If you think this is a Shelby Super Snake, it's not. It will always be a Jeep, it'll always be a Tacoma, it'll always be a Ford Ranger. So be mindful about what you think you're wanting out of it, because I got trapped into that thought. And I never needed what it had off the bottom, never. Again, I'll say it again, in-4 high, light to light, I could take a lot of vehicles with a Jeep on 37s or 40s, and that really shouldn't be, you know, what you're attempting to do. So again, I wanted something that I could get a higher mileage out of, mile per hour, and a better gas mileage. I don't need great, but 15, 16 would be wonderful. So that's why I'm doing it. Anyway, comment. I will do a separate video on the gears if that's what you guys want to see, because I would love to explain the big differences between it, and why I think that one's better than the other, or what they're more apt to be good for. Anyway, like, subscribe, please subscribe. It helps me out. At the same time, comment below. It kind of drives the content, and it'll tell me what you need to know about, or what you're missing, or what you'd like to learn about. Gears is one of the first equipment things that we'll do, and I think it's important. Before you ever consider changing your gears, send me a message, DM me, whatever, because we really need to go over things. Because when I lost the ability to do cruise at highway speeds without revving the motor out and getting 9 miles to the gallon, I would have never spent that money. And it ended up being close to, you know, $2,500 to do all that. And now I'm gonna throw them in the trash or sell them to some guy for 500 bucks. So I wish I would have never done it. So before that happens, let me know. And again, our next trip is probably gonna be in one of the trucks, one of the big trucks or something like that. But it'll be a new series that I'm starting called Overnight Overlandings, or Overlanding Overnights. And so it'll basically be a 1 night or 2 night type stay, local park, river, lake, something like that. When I can't get out, but something to show you guys that just because we can't go on a long distance trip, we can still go out and have a good time and enjoy the outdoors. And so that's what I'll be doing. So next weekend, hopefully that is. I've got a couple updates. My trailers should be shipping the 16th, which is next Friday. So you'll have to look to see that in the videos. I know the girlfriend is finally gonna be in a few videos. She's not looking forward to that, but it's gonna happen. I want to incorporate everybody in what we do, and so she's going to be a part of that. And then, of course, the new trailer is going to be a part of that. But yeah, that's it. So motor work, we're going to see what's wrong with him, what's wrong with the heart of Titus, and then we'll get gears put in. And then hopefully soon after that, we'll be going somewhere real cool. I know we've got a place down in Turkey, Texas that we want to check out. We've got Marist Adventure Park here we want to check out. I've been really thinking about Bridgeport or down in Decatur, Texas, or maybe Mason, Texas. But either way, we've got a lot of cool content like that outdoors coming up. Once he gets healthy, we'll do some overlanding in some of the truck rigs, get that accomplished and show you that it's definitely capable. And then start introducing the trailer as well. But anyway, again, thanks for stopping by. Like, comment, share, comment, subscribe, have your buddies subscribe. And the more we do, the more content I'll be able to put out and help us all get better at what we're doing. Again, just like the gears, $2,000 I wouldn't have to spend but once. Now I'm gonna have to do it twice. So anyway, I guess that's it. Have a good day.